tonight's webinar is getting tech savvy, and this is for actually all four groups, groups 1 and 2, 3 and 4 as well. And I to give you a quick little background on myself is the and also too if this is your first time using Join Me, then you have to make sure that you mute yourself. And I am going to for now I'm going to mute everybody else as well. Give me just a second. So if you have any questions at any point, text me the questions. There's a dialog box that's built into Join Me into your control panel, and then from there, um, okay, I don't know why that's just right, but from there you can send a message. There's a little dialog icon next to showing how many people are on the call. We have 16 people on the call, and then of course we're gonna if you miss any of this, we're gonna sure that we hopefully get a decent recording of this, and then you will be able to replay some of this. And that's one of the reasons we're doing this is we're going to start trying to put a library of webinars and presentations and everything together eventually on the GPI website. So I'm going to get started. I'll tell you what, again, I'm Michael Fleming with the Government Procurement Institute. And my background, I actually used to be an IT manager for Bell South at the Linux area. I mean, I actually was an IT manager of IT managers to a lot of degree. I was over a lot of IT managers. And so I'm going to share with you a lot of the experiences that I had as an IT manager about some of the little techniques about becoming tech savvy. I've used this process times to help people actually get jobs, and it's even some degree, even though it may seem kind of simple tonight, this is stuff you can kind of put on your resume if you don't already know it. One of the things I'm going to start out with, okay, one of the things I'm going to start off with is I'm going to go to just a very basic. This just so happened I have Windows 10 on. By now, most people have at least Windows 8. If you have Windows 7, it still works primarily the same. Windows took, and for those who have Macs, I am not completely sure how similar the process is with the Macs. So I do apologize in advance on that. So hopefully this is going to be primarily around the PC. And for my Mac users, please feel free to you can send a text message or instant message, join me, and let me know if there's something similar that they do in a Mac, and I'll share that as well. All right. So if I'm going to type one more note, I want to type one more note to make sure that people can that are just coming on. There's a dial in button that you have to kind of hit to please dial into here, Otto. I'm gonna put that back up again. There should have been a message that showed up on everyone's screen that says please dial into here audio. All right, so here we go. One of the first things that most people do not realize when their computer, as you turn your computer on, what typically happens is that what you see on your screen is really the smallest part of what's actually running. Behind your screen, and this is the way I like describing it, behind your screen, there are multiple applications that are running as you turn on your computer. For most people, that starts down here at the bottom of the screen. If you look over here to the right hand side, that little box that says show hidden icons and all these different things that are here, which most of the time most people only check over here either for the time and the date and the see to the internet. But in reality, these are all the programs that are running behind your computer. And these are the things that can slow your computer up. And nowadays, I was just telling Paul the other day, nowadays people love to say, I have a virus on my computer. I've done a lot of tech support in the last 4 or 5 years, and more often than not, it is not a virus. What it is that there are conflicting programs that are running, and more often than not, it is your antivirus, believe it or not. And especially if you have some off-market antivirus, a lot of times that is conflicting because it's trying to control all your programs. So if you're having a lot of IT problems and stuff with your computer, one of the quickest ways to find out whether it's the software or not is to turn it off, and I'll show you how to do that. Or in some cases, you may even have to remove it. But when you go over to this right-hand side and you click over here on that intro, and y'all can see it on my screen. And if you can see right here, those are additional programs that are running on my computer. Like Chrome sent me a notification, so I'm going to click on that, and it says 58 degrees clear in Redan, right? So I'm going to just get rid of that. So that's one less thing that I now have running in the background. I have join.me running in the background, and then there's some basic. I have a compact HP computer, and I have a compact HP computer, and so you'll probably see some HP stuff popping up. That's only because I have a compact. Hey, one of the first things, and this is one of the easiest things, is that if you have Windows 8 and you miss that menu button, and if you have not done this, if you go over into Windows 8 and you right click over in the left hand corner, this little menu bar is going to come up. Now, I know for most people now, you probably already know that, right? But that is actually the old menu bar. That's the actual old menu bar that was in your earlier Windows 7 and different versions, right? See, but in Windows 10, they've come back and they've tried to replace some of those things. So for now, I'm going to right click in the left hand corner, and then I'm going to go to Run. Right? Most people probably have never used that button, and I'm gonna put in a command in the Run that can make you look like a tech guru. And it can one little command that can make you really have an influence on that can make you have a lot of influence on being able to manage your computer and repair your computer and all these different things. And if you have not heard it before, it is called MSCONFIG. It has actually been around since the 80s, and it's called MSCONFIG, and that's short for Microsoft Config and Microsoft Configuration. And if you hit OK, what's going to happen? Well, it should anyway, and it's going to probably run a little slow because I'm on the internet. I mean, because I'm running the webinar through the internet. Okay, and I did too. As this is coming up, and there it is. It finally popped up. As this is coming up, I'm going to go through a lot of this tech support stuff, but I'm also going to teach you about some of the things that you can do with your web browser. I'm going to show you some things that you can do with Microsoft Word, some things you can do with Microsoft PowerPoint, and some things that you can do with Microsoft Excel. So, and here's the goal. Anything that we do is that we're trying to make you more efficient in government contracting. That's what the whole goal of GPI. We're trying to make you more efficient and give you a better chance of winning contracts. And so this, because I know so many people have computer problems, and obviously we're not going to be able to provide direct support. So I figured, hey, let me make an audio or a webinar about it. So now I put in that Microsoft config, the MS config, into the Run. And so here, these 4 tabs that come, and this is to see what's happening behind the screen on your computer. So you have a general tab, a boot tab, services, startup, and tools. And you see more often than not when you do this that I've never seen it anyway, any other way, but there's usually a selective startup that is, even though it shows it here, here's the thing, this is the startup button here, right? So in the startup, you click Open Task Manager. And when you open that Task Manager, you're going to see all the components that are running behind your computer. And here you will see Startup tab. These are things, especially if they say enabled, that are running behind the computer. And so if your computer's running real slow and you're not sure why, or things seem to be hanging up, or things don't open up in time, or they never open up, most likely if you go into this back area and you look at this startup, you're going to have a bunch of things that say enabled in here. And here's the trick to this, is once you're in here, if it's something that you have never heard of before, then some program that installed it. And disabling it here does not remove it from your computer. It does not remove it. What it does is it just turns it off. And these are things that are actually running in the background of your computer simultaneously. So for me, I mine pretty optimized. So these are things that I've tried to load before on my computer, and I've disabled them. iTunes Helper, I don't even do anything with iTunes. It's amazing how it keeps getting installed. Join Me, I disabled it as far as it running in the background. Just like I was saying before, it does not remove Join Me. That's actually what I'm using right now. I am using Join Me to do this webinar. So here you disable here, and then what you're able to do is kind of see all those background programs. Doesn't need to be on there. I use Skype with the developer, even though, again, I run it, but I disable it here. Now, for those that want to see a more advanced area, now this shows you the primary things that are running behind your screen, but there's a whole additional set of programs and services that are running even further behind your computer. And then there's actually another level behind that, but we won't We won't get to that. That's the registry. But if you click here where it says services, these are all the programs that are running in the back of your computer. Now, most of these your computer needs. So that's why I rarely go in here and turn these off. So unless I know for sure there's something I just absolutely should not have running, these things are the type of things that can hang up your particular computer through them. Okay. So if nothing else, and again, I got to all of this simply by typing in the run command, Microsoft config, MSCONFIG. That's how easy this was. But the primary tab is to start. Get things out of your startup that you do not need. And I pretty much can feel comfortable saying that if you're not sure what it is, it most likely does not need to be enabled. So that's part of what you want to do. So that'll probably help your computer run faster right off the bat. And while I'm at it, I tell you what, the first things are the things that will help your computer, that help someone that's just joined. One of the first things that I'm going to do is show you some of the things that will help your computer run faster. And so that's what one of the primary, again, this box right here controls this area over here. This area right here usually on your menu bar down here. This is the things that make that area run. So we're gonna close out of that. There's some other things in here that it shows you how much memory, how much, like right here. Oh, you know what? This is an interesting thing to point out. I have a camera on my laptop, and I try to tell people this, but I get a chance to actually show y'all is that right there that says UCam, the UCam Mirage, that is my camera. I have tried every way I can to turn that thing off permanently. It will not. I have no idea what turns it on. And when I look at other people's computers, it comes on theirs too. So I don't know. So I just went ahead and put tape over mine. No one can see. They might can pick up some audio, but they're definitely not going to be able to see through it. So that's one of the little tidbits. But this right here, the reason that these things are flashing back and forth is because they're using memory on my computer. And so it's showing here how much memory is being used on the computer. And again, more time to show you how I got here. So let me close out everything. And I'm gonna show you another trick. And then I'm gonna start showing you some Microsoft Office stuff that you can do to make your presentations, to make your spreadsheets, and then even using Word. All right, so here. Again, you right click. I'm right clicking my mouse in the left hand corner. You can do this on every Windows version except for Windows 7. If you click Start and then click Run, and then if you click Start, it's going to have a area that says Run. Well, I right clicked on it. I'm going to Run. These are all the old sections that used to be in Windows 7 and earlier versions. They just made it one line instead of a bunch of products. I'm on Windows 10. You click on Run. You type in MSCONFIG, is short for Microsoft Configuration. And so from here, again, you type in Microsoft Configuration. I'm not going to go through the whole, I'm going to go fairly quick. And so as you go through Microsoft, the MS Config, it normally comes up faster, but because I'm doing the webinar, it's coming up a little slow. And it's going to select a startup. It tells you here what's running. You click Startup, Open Task Manager. And these are the things that are running in the back of your computer. Disable the things that you absolutely know should not be on your computer, and you'll be surprised how much faster your computer will run. And if you want to be tech savvy, you go into services and you can see all the things that are running in your computer in the background. And a lot of these things sometimes don't need to be running, and there's obviously a lot of them that are stopped. Okay, that's one of the things automatically right off the bat that will make your computer run fast. That was MS config and again, right clicking Run. Okay, the other portion of it is, and I see this, I've been seeing this for the last few years. I will have people that will tell me all the time, I have a virus on my computer. And so we used to have more time to come and take a look at their computer, and I go, okay, let me see if you got a virus. I have not seen a virus on anyone's computer in years. What happens is that these programs run themselves on the background of your computer. When they run themselves on the background of the computer, your computer starts hanging up and slowing. Well, one of the easiest things, technically, every single computer into that in some form or fashion or always wants to talk to the internet. So what they've done is that in your web browsers, now this is Chrome that I'm using, but it's the same way in Bing and in Firefox. You just have to find it. But in Chrome, these three little lines up here at the top where it says customize and control your Google Chrome right up here. And so here is usually where you can fix problems that have to do with bigger problems on your computer. So you click on this and you go down to more tools. Under more tools, hold on, I just somebody needed to get in. Under more tools, there's a thing called extensions. These extensions are what holds up your browser. So if you got a browser that's moving real slow, or or you can't figure out why your internet is moving so slow, that is one of the things that is probably moving your internet real slow, is that you've got to go into the extensions and change out everything on the extension. So here in mine, again, my computer is pretty much already optimized, but more often than not, you go out to a website, sometimes those websites install those extensions on your computer. And in the process of installing those extensions on your computer, they are trying to run even when you don't know it. These are programs that run behind what you see on the screen. And by the way, anything on your screen right now, on your keyboard, and is usually in the very top row, there's usually an icon that says print screen. Anything that's on your screen can be printed. Any single thing, every single thing that ever shows up on your screen, if you hit the print screen key, it is going to automatically make a copy of that and it's going to automatically make a copy of that to your to your copy file. And then from the copy file, it is going to, at that point, you can paste it into any report. But okay, back to the extensions. All right, now once you're in here, these extensions can be enabled or disabled. If you see, I clicked on Google Calendar and it popped up here. Well, if you got a lot of these things up here running, that is why your browser is moving slow. I unselect as many of those things as I possibly can, and sure enough, my internet, when the internet connection is good, it runs fairly good. So again, I'm gonna show you how I got to this. I'm gonna come out of it. Let's see. Okay, let's go back. It's moving slow. All right. Again, I'm on a wireless internet, so the connection is moving slow. But again, you go up to here where the three lines are: customize and control Google Chrome, and you go here. Let me see. You go here. You click. You go to the drop down where it says more tools, and then here you come to. I got it on my screen. Okay, you come down into more tools, and then you go to extensions. And it's just like before when we were doing the startup. When we were looking at the startup area, is that when these extensions come up, uncheck something that you're not sure about. If you're not sure what it is, just uncheck it. Most likely you don't need it. And as you see, when you do need it, you can always go back in here and turn that section on, and it'll work. It'll work just fine. It doesn't remove it. It just turns it off. And more often than not, you need things turned off. So and when people are like, their browsers won't come up and different stuff like that, most likely they've got a lot of things that are in the extensions. Now, while I'm in here, I'm going to show you some other things too about this particular option. And most people don't know where it is because a lot of times they can't find it on a page. Anytime something comes up in your internet browser, if you go to print, it's going to make a PDF of that screen. So if I click on print, you're going to see the PDF generator comes up. And then it's going to try to make a PDF of everything that was on that screen. So that's another way to do the screen capture component. I'm going to cancel that. And then also, if you come in and you do more tools, then there's your save page as. I mean, I don't know what the deal is with that or why Microsoft moved this so many times, but if you need to save something on a screen that you have before, then this is where you save that, where you do the save page as. Okay. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Those are the primary things with your Windows browser. Okay. Now I'm going to jump into probably the primary reason everybody got online today. I'm going to show you some of the tools that when you're using different Microsoft programs, right? One of the first ones that I want to show some stuff on is for your presentations. I want to show you some examples here. This is one of my favorite programs is PowerPoint, and not just for presentations. With PowerPoint, there pretty much isn't anything that you can't do. You can go out and buy a publisher program. You can buy Photoshop. You can buy all of those different things, but PowerPoint actually can do just about all those things. It's cheaper to buy. It's most likely already on your computer, and Microsoft got a lot of little secrets in here that most people have no idea that PowerPoint can even do. So one of the first ones I'm going to show you is probably ones that kind of make you go, wow. But if you go online, and most people don't know this about their browsers too. If you go online and you look at and you open up a tab, right? Now watch this. Okay. And let's say we put in the map of the United States. Now, I just did a basic Google search just now, right? So in other words, a lot of general information is about to come up. Let me just say this loading. Okay. All right. Now, most people don't pay attention to these little links up here at the top. This is the web search by itself, but they also say here images because I'm looking for a specific image. Then there's an image component right here, but you also have those here: maps, images, apps, shopping, and more. And I use these a lot. If you go into images, you click on the images, and I could have clicked on it down below as well. Then you see all these different designs of the United States that come up, right? I'm going to intentionally pick one that's got a I looked at, I put my mouse on the image, I right click, and I go open. I always try to open the link in a new tab if I can, because in that way I keep my original screen up. So I open link in new tab. So now the image opens up here, right? And so now, and that one's a little, okay, came in. I'm going to right click on that image and I'm going to save the image. Okay, I can go to PowerPoint. Let's see, we're going to save that. And I'm going to copy the image. Okay, I'm going to copy the image. I'm going to go to PowerPoint, and I'm going to put this image, and I want y'all to see this. This is what some of the things that PowerPoint can do. I'm going to paste that image into PowerPoint. Excuse me. Okay, and the image is large. Okay, so I'm going to shrink the image down. Let me shrink this image down to fit on the page. Okay. So I've shrunk the image down to fit on the page. Now, you see they showed me a portion the things with PowerPoint that most people don't know that PowerPoint can do. If I click on the image and you see that it gives me the trace marks right here at the end. So right, it shows that I've clicked on the PowerPoint. If I go up here to where it says format and I go to remove background, you're going to see it make a change. You see this area that's in purple? Everything that's in purple, the background image has been removed. Now, I want the full map of the United States, so I'm going to draw the box out. I'm going to draw the box to the end. And watch this. Excuse me. Okay, I'm adjusting the trace lines here out to the outside. And now watch what happens. Remember, I started off with a diagram that had Canada up at the top. I went to format, and then I've gone to remove background. Now watch when I click away from the diagram. That entire background image is gone from the original image. Now, I'm going to show you here. Hold on just a second. I'm going to do it again. Excuse me. Let's see. Delete. Paste the image. Okay, again, I pasted in the image. Remember, I got this image from online. The image is too large, so I'm going to shrink it down to the page. I could actually leave it that size, but I'm going to shrink it down to fit on the page. Okay, that's a standard 8.5 by 11 size page. Okay, give me just a second. Fine, and letting some people in. All right, I'm going to go back up. Okay, remember, I got the image from on. Look at all this extra stuff they got. The map of the United States. They've got a compass, Canada, the oceans, everything else. I click on the image. And look here, I want to make sure you see something too. When you do not select that image, this is all that you see in the menu. And this is the key to all Microsoft programs. They're pretty much, one thing Microsoft has done a good job of over the years is that these menu options are pretty much always the same. File, home, insert, design, transition, and all these things. You learn how to really have some power over all of Microsoft tools. Okay, so again, what I've got this full image. I don't want this full image. I just want the continental United States, right? And so what I'm going to do is when I click on this image, watch what happens up here. When I click on this image, I click on the image, and it adds a format picture. Okay, see, so in the format, I click on that, When I click on the format, the picture is selected. It gives me a different menu option across the top. The one that I love that I use a lot is the background. So when I click on the remove background, what's going to happen? You're going to see the purple area is the area that's already been removed from the picture. The color area is the area that is keeping. And you'll see over here in the PowerPoint here, you actually will see in the PowerPoint over here that this already shows the areas that are removed, right? So now I'm going to expand the image out. I'm going to expand my trace line out so that I can see the full image. Okay, so it's gonna give me Maine. There's Maine. And I got my 48 states. I have Hawaii and Alaska in this picture. So now I'm going to click away, just simply clicking away. Now that I've clicked away, the entire background image, remember all that other additional background image stuff was back here. Canada's gone, Mexico gone, everything's gone. I only have what I have. You can actually take a picture of and upload your picture and take out the background around your picture. I've done that for people before on different projects where literally we would take a picture of them standing in front of a car or something and take the picture of the car out. So now once this image is taken out, the image is actually not frozen. The original image, even though you can't see it, is actually still behind this image. So what you do is you click on it, right click, cut the image. When you cut it, it sends it into a copy space, and then you right click and you paste it. Okay. Oh, that's my calendar. Okay, you right click and you paste it. Now pasting the image is now locked. All the old stuff is gone. I'm gonna show you what I just did there. Sorry about that, I went too fast. When you click back on the image, you right click, then you got to click on the image first and you go to crop. The crop button allows you to remove the additional background information. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to use my little lines around the outside, and I'm cropping it out right there. Okay. Okay. And so I'm just trying to get rid of the additional space around it. It's already clear. So then now that I've made the crop changes, every time, at least for me, every time I make a change that I know is a permanent change, I click on the image, I right click on the image, and see, here's the other thing too. When you right click on something using any Microsoft product, the same menu bar that's up here, they try to give you the primary ones, the same menus here to match. They try to give you the same images right here to match. Okay, so if I can cut, I'm gonna cut the image and then I'm gonna paste the image. Okay, so now I have that built in there too. So here's the thing. Now that I have that particular image, if I wanted to turn this image, I'm gonna copy it here so I can keep my original. Okay. I'm gonna copy the entire PowerPoint page. I'm gonna paste a new one because I want. Say I wanted to turn this image into a black and white silhouette. And again, this is the power of just having the right click, left click button in come on. No. Okay. Sorry, y'all. My connection went down. Hopefully everybody can. If everybody can still hear me. Can y'all still hear me? I'm sorry. Can y'all still hear me? Oh, good. I see somebody typing. Okay, great. All right. Sorry about that. I do appreciate that. The connection, the internet connection itself, not the computer. But okay. So now I'm gonna show you again. I was showing some of the tools inside of PowerPoint. We've already done the Microsoft config, the extensions in Google Chrome, and now I'm trying to show you some of the features inside of PowerPoint. And so PowerPoint, I was showing you how you can use it to remove a background on a picture you find online, a picture you take, if picture of a person or something or a building or something, you can just grab just that picture out. And let me check here, please. Yes. Okay, good. Y'all can hear me. All right. So now, when you have that image, you select the image, you right click. You come down here to where it says Format Picture. You see how this option opens up. And again, this option up here opens up. And so Format Picture, you got these 4 boxes, fill and line, you've got effects, you got size and properties, and you got picture. I want to turn this picture into a silhouette. I'm going to click right here. And in that picture, it's going to give me 3 options: picture correction, picture color, and picture crop. I'm going to select picture correction. In the picture correction, you can sharpen, you can brighten, and in brighten, you can preset brightness and contrast. I want to turn this picture into a black and white silhouette of the United States. Now I try to sharpen my pictures up a little bit more, so I'm gonna go over here and sharpen it up. Well, okay, now that removes some of the color, so I'm gonna take that one back. Let me undo it. Okay, so instead, I'm just gonna go ahead and make it a silhouette. Watch this. Is you take the brightness to a negative color. You take it to a negative color. Okay, it's going. Okay, let me go back. Okay, you take it to a completely negative color, and it's hard to see it, but you still see some of the typing in there. So it takes it to a negative color, and then what you do is you take contrast to a positive, and that removes everything. Now I took that same picture that I just took 5 minutes ago off the internet, and I've now turned that into a silhouette of the United States. Remember, once I have a change that I want to keep, I then right-click on that, I cut the picture, I paste the picture. And now if I want to add some art and all that stuff to it, or I want to add my brand or my logo or something else, then I now can put that in here. And, let's see, we'll type it in real quick. Our best. Okay. So now I can go and put, let's see, text and information. I can expand, and I know I'm kind of going through these other options fast, but see, even with the text box that I put in, right, I can go in here, I can highlight everything, I can change the text color. Let's see if I want to change it. And then I want to change my background. I right click, and you see where it says fill. I can change my fill to no fill, and then I changed the fill to no fill. Now watch you change the line. I right click, and it says outline. Say no outline. Right now, there I go. There you go. I made my own design just that fast. These are some of the tricks inside of PowerPoint just by itself. One of the other features inside of PowerPoint, got to remember. Let me try to find it for you. PowerPoint actually can create a video, and PowerPoint can create a video. You actually can create a PowerPoint inside of a inside. Here's the other thing too. Let me tell you, because you'll see me doing this, and I take it for granted that I do it. Is when I'm in PowerPoint, just like Word and all the other Microsoft products, they try to help you out first, but their tools will lock you into a format. So as soon as I come onto a page, and if I see something Microsoft already has, I try to get rid of it. I will highlight everything that Microsoft is trying to help. I just want a clean page. I want a particularly clean page here, right? See, so inside of PowerPoint, and I haven't used it much, so I need to find it first. Inside of PowerPoint, they have an option to actually record slideshow. I'm start recording already. Or declare what the time is. Let me see. I think that's going to be it right there, but I think there's a couple of places. Let me find it here. I got it. Okay, that was it. Okay. Yeah, here it's going to say start recording from beginning to end slideshow. Most people do not know this is an option inside of PowerPoint. PowerPoint can actually record every single thing you do on the computer. So I'm going to click this, and it's going to say start recording from begin. Doing a webinar or anything at the same time. So I want to see if it's going to work. Narrations. You see it says, if I put my mouse on it, it says record narrations. Point adjust the slide and animation time is for playback. And there is an additional feature. Let me see if this is it. Select what you want to record before a slide animation. Start recording. Okay. I'm going to click on start recording. And you see it took me out to something else that I was working on. So I now can click between pages and everything else that I'm doing. You see how I'm kind of strolling? I'm just literally just scrolling between pages is what you see me doing. And then I'm going to go back up. Okay, I'm just going back through. And then inside of here, it's got the recording button. So I've only done a few seconds of recording. All right, let's see. And each thing. Okay, and I'm just taking something random. But actually it could have went out to any screen, and I'm gonna hit stop. Got the recording stop. Okay, and I'm gonna hit escape so I can go back. Okay, give me just a second. Okay, let me see if I can get it right. Uh-oh. Give me just a second. Resume recording. I do not. Let me see. Next. Let's click next, and let's click stop. Give me just a second to come out of it. Yes, I've never tried it while I'm online at the same time, so there may be a little glitch to it. Okay, so we stop. Let me see if I can run it. Uh-oh. Give me just a second. I may have too many applications running at the same time. Okay. Uh-oh. All right, give me just a second. So I've never tried it while I was online at the same time. I was worried about that it was going to give too many resources. Recording. Okay. All right. So here, as you see, there's Microsoft created a play button down here, and I went into slide. I went into start recording, and then down here it's got the play button. Let me see if it'll do it. I hit play. Let's see if it'll start going through. You're probably not able to hear it, but there's also, well, let me play the PowerPoint. Let me see if I can. Worried about doing it because it, again, it can lock, because I'm using dual resources for each one. Let's see. Go. Okay. Slideshow. Let me see if I can get it to play. Okay, I may have to try that one. What will happen on that? Typically, what will happen is it'll follow everything that you did with your mouse, and then what will happen at that point is that it will then turn around. Somebody put in here about the manufacturing machine, and anything that you're interested in on designs for, you can remove the backgrounds. You can record every single mouse movement that you have on your computer. And so PowerPoint is able to put all those components and everything together too. And so there's no limit really to what you can do in PowerPoint. Then on top of that, if you wanted to, like I got this image here, to copy this image, I'm clicking on the control button. I'm hitting and holding control button. I know y'all can't see me doing it. Now you see how my mouse is over here and it just looks like a regular mouse. When I move that mouse over the image, you see how that plus button, I'm holding the control button. I'm not letting it go. So once I have the control button held, I now can click and hold on that image, and it will make another image, right, inside of there. So now, once inside of here, I actually can go to animation. I can add, I can make it disappear. I can make it come back. I can make it spin. I can make it, these are the options up here where you can shape it, different designs. So it's under your animation, you start seeing a lot of the options. But what it comes down to is what I was saying before, is that you have to get used to what the menu buttons are up here. That is the real thing that really sets it apart. And there's a lot of videos and everything, additional videos on YouTube where people are walking you through each specific one. Tonight, I'm just going through like a broad, just general of just how these programs kind of work. Okay, so that was pretty much my little quick PowerPoint kind of session. The main thing was showing you how to get rid of the background, that there's a video option for it, how you can actually right click and go into the format picture option, and then some additional options to change, features about a particular drawing or something that you're trying to do in PowerPoint. All right, so next I'm going to go to Excel. Excel is one of my favorite programs, and I'm going to get a, let's see. Okay, in Excel, for the most part, and up here, same thing. This is what I'm talking about: File, Home, Insert. The top left-hand corner. When it comes to anything with IT and technology, this is the thing you have to remember about everything in IT. There are three components of IT: hardware, software, and communications. You're right. Hardware is the physical device itself, the laptop that I'm on, your monitor, your keyboard. That's all hardware. And for those who don't feel like they're all that tech savvy, I recommend to people all the time, go to Best Buy and just literally just and look at how things are labeled. Don't worry about feeling pressure to buy anything. Matter of fact, I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't even recommend Best Buy because their prices are always higher than Walmart's and definitely higher than Amazon online. And but go in there and you pretty much can self-educate yourself just looking at how things are labeled in regards to hardware. And then if you go over to the software section, the software, everything that shows up on when you're looking at your computer is some kind of software program. And then communications is that everything we do now, technology talks to each other. And so that's what communication work means. So it's hardware, software, and communications. So the hardware nowadays is much of a pressure because everything, pretty much these smartphones, your tablets, your laptops, your desktops, and even these smart TVs now, they take care of the hardware. It's all packaged in one thing. You don't have to replace anything. It's probably cheaper to buy something new than to replace it. But software features really have been part of Microsoft Office since the early 2000s for the most part. And if you have Microsoft Office for Apple, then these same features, and I've seen it a couple times on Apple and stuff, it's these same features show up. So I want to kind of get you comfortable with each. Also, let me look. Somebody's got a question. To let it go to drag the picture. I have someone asking when I held control, did I have to let it go to drag the picture? No, you have to hold on to the control. And real quick, I will go back to that, and then and I will take you through that. Let me see. I'm gonna show you that real quick. Let's see here. So when you go to here, yeah, you hold the button. You do not let it go until you move the image or the picture where you want it. Then you let it go once you have the image moved, and bam, you have a copy just like that. And see, of course, now this is the other thing in Microsoft. I mean, I forgot to show this in PowerPoint. Up here at the top, they have a swirl button, and that lets you swirl the picture around. So you can play with a bunch of stuff in there. But or you learn to adjust. You learn to adjust the tabs on the outside where you can condense and move the picture, swing it back and forward, up and down. So again, you can't go wrong. Kind of open up a general file and playing with it and learning how to do it. Okay. So now back to Excel. I love Excel personally because there isn't anything I can't do in Excel because pretty much everything ends up in some kind of row or column anyway. And then I usually build things in Excel and then turn around and make them in and convert it to PowerPoint or Word, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Now, for the sake of the fact that we're the Government Procurement Institute, I'm going to try to do a mock-up of how you kind of make your own financial files or how you can make a report or something of that nature. But it gets back to the same thing. This is a standard Excel sales system, right? Rows. These are your rows. These are your rows going across, and these are your columns going down, right? And then they forever. Literally, the system is built for an infinite amount of numbers and transactions. So one of the first things, most likely, if you're working in Excel, then you're working in it for a specific purpose, whether that's for your financials or you're using it. And for those that are in 2 class, I've been talking to them about how you're going to be able to use this to do contracts. And we definitely have a technique for doing that. I won't be showing that tonight. But in another session, I'll be showing how we can use Excel to actually organize and manage a contract. But for the sake tonight, I'm just trying to get you used to some of the features. So more often than not, when you come into Excel, you start off with the tab down here that says just sheet 1, right? But you still have the same typical options up here. Oh, no, by the way, these shortcut keys up here, this little drop down box right here will show you even more of them, right? And then down here it says more commands and show the ribbon below. But more commands, there are thousands, there seems to be anyway, thousands of these little shortcut commands. These are the most popular ones right here. And then if you wanted to, you can say you want to see all of them. Here's look how small that bar looks. That's how many there are. But there's all these different little shortcut keys and things that you can use to do to do things in Excel. And then what you do is you select one and then you hit add and it transfers it to this section over here. And then next thing you know, you'll see it pop up over here to be able to use it. So I've got the ones I primarily use up here. You have to add your own. That I know of, that little area has been part of Windows since 2003. Um, so now, one of the first things when you come into an Excel file, most likely you have a reason to be using that Excel file. So for now, I'm gonna say the GPI sample, um, becoming tech savvy. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, and I type that in, and that's text. Uh, One thing about Excel, it doesn't automatically treat text as text. It tries to treat everything as numbers. So you have to be careful anytime you're trying to type something in that has a number in it, because it may think you're trying to do a formula. It's always trying to help you calculate something. Okay, so let me see. I'm naming this particular sheet becoming a GPI sample. Hey, what's going on? For the class. Okay. Oh, okay. Uh, I, yes, sir. Sorry about that, y'all. Okay, thank you. Okay, now I apologize, y'all, for that second. Just a second. Okay, here we are. We right there in GPI sample becoming tech savvy. Okay, that's actually in column A. Here's the thing about the size. You see how I'm moving the mouse and there's a plus? That's because it's trying to help me select a particular system. They call these areas, right? But when I come up here between A and B, that is a size bar, right? So if I double click, and that's what I did, I double clicked, and you see how it moved out from GPI sample becoming tech savvy. And then if I squeeze this back over, word is not moving, the cell is moving, right? So that's how you size something in Excel, is you just simply double click in between here, and then it moves it over. Now that's the same thing, that's for my columns, but the same thing that if I want to change the size of the row. So you see how I made taller, then that size indicator here is adjusted. Well, all the space up here is extra space. So if I go in between 1 and 2 and I double click, it reduces it to the most useful size there is. Okay, that's one of the primary things. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to resize it because I want to show you something else. All right, now remember, I want to name the sheet GPI sample becoming tech savvy, right? So if I go in and I highlight just that column A where it's done, I can actually highlight multiple columns above there. Let's see, all the way out to J. If I go to here where it says merge and center, I click on merge and center, and it now literally makes that all one big bar. Okay, give everybody kind of a chance, and I'll do it again. So here I type in GPI sample becoming tech savvy all into one block, but then I highlight everywhere that I want, where I want to kind of make it the heading. All right, so then I go to merge and center. Now see, there it is. It takes up that entire spot. So here I then turn around. If I want to change the size, I click into the box. I go up here to the size. I want to change it to, let's say, size 24. And then I want to bold it. That's what that is bold, italicize, and underline. So I bold it. And now all of a sudden I have it here. Okay. Now, for me, more often than not, what I typically do is at this point that one GPI sample becoming tech savvy, I then can start my columns and rows. Now, for the sake of financials, I'm going to give you an idea, or expenses. Let's say we're going to make this an expense chart. So I know this is going to be expenses. And then here, next, I want to look at it month by month. So I'm going to say month 1. Okay, now watch this. Okay, so now let's say my expenses, I have office expenses, right? And then under office expenses, I then have the copier, or I have paper, and I have paper, or let's say, we even going to say coffee, all right, something of that nature. So you see, I can obviously keep going down. Now, this is bold, so I'm just going to highlight across, right, and then I don't have anything in there. I'll highlight across, and then I select bold, and then I want this to be a little larger because I want the headings to stand out. I select 12 or even 14. All right, see, so now again, remember I was saying about the oversizing. The text is oversized the box. So I want to adjust my box. I remember I put it here to adjust the size. Okay, I put it here to adjust the month, right? Now, when I scroll up, you see how now that I just use my scroll button to scroll up on my mouse, but I can do it over here too. When I scroll down and it goes away, you see how the information just went away? That's because I didn't lock the information in. What happens is that in Excel, there's an area where you can put where you can freeze. It literally is called freeze pane. You can freeze all the information or freeze all the information at a certain point so that information never moves. So I automatically know one of the best places to put it. So I information to the left to be frozen, and I want my information up here at the top to be frozen. So I'm going to put my mouse here. I select the space here, the view. And in view, they have an option that says freeze pane. So I now go to freeze pane. I select my drop down. I can freeze out of the row, I can freeze the column, but instead I want to freeze all the panes in the row and the column. So I select freeze pane, and you see this little cross reference bars here. Now, when I scroll, that information stays the same in the locked areas. So whether I go left or right or anything else, see that this information to the left stays and the information to the top stays, but it's that I've moved over. So when I come back, information is there. All right. So now I scroll back up. You can see where I have my expenses, and then I can say month one. Here's some of the simple tricks in Excel, and one of the reasons I like Excel so much, because if you got to copy a lot of information, Excel is going to try to help you do the work. As a matter of fact, I need to make sure there's a space. Month one. Okay. So I then take my little register box here, and you see how again my mouse went from a large plus to a small plus. Large plus, small plus. And now if I take that and click, left click, get across, and you see right here, you see right below my plus sign is telling me what month it's got across. Let's say I want to do a 12-month projection. I'm going out 7, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now watch what happens when I let it go. Right now, they're empty. So look, it populates it. And even though right now my text is too large for the boxes, so I can go in and I can do each one at a time. I can go in here with C and D. I can double click, and then that opens it up, right? Well, I could do each one at a time, but instead I'm going to go back. Let me go back, and you see how all of them are pretty much not large enough. Well, what happens is Excel has got this little area right here at the top, right? If you click on that, it highlights everything. Now, once everything is highlighted, if I go in between two of the letters or two of the columns, and I double click, it's going to say you want to make these changes to everything. So I'm going to double click in here, and you see how now it adjusted all the boxes at one time instead of me doing it any other way. Okay, so now the same thing. If I go and I try to adjust the size, it thinks I want to adjust the size to everyone. So if I adjust it down, you're going to see the size of every one of the rows get larger. Okay, see, they got a slight larger size right there just by itself. And it will do the same thing for my column. If I go and I try to adjust the size of the columns, it thinks I want to adjust all the sizes when everything's highlighted. So now everything's got a little bit larger size. And you see this whole grayed out area, that's because the entire Excel file is selected. The entire Excel file is selected. Okay, now, so I actually don't need everything in that size. I was just showing it, and I'm going to go over this real quick one more time here in a second. Okay, so now I click here, it highlights the entire box. I want to get everything in a condensed format on the rows and the columns, and that's how that pretty much works out. So again, I'm going to do this one more time. All right, so let me go back and do my unchanges. I'm doing, okay, month one. So month one, I can go month one, and then I can go across, right? That is what I was showing you before. So I typed in, I did the merge and center. That's how I got this. My two headings here, expenses and months. And then I put in right here the freeze pane. That's what that was here, is that when you want to freeze the panes and keep things from moving, you want to copy and have it adjust the information. You go from this big plus to this little plus, and you just simply grab that and go straight across, and Excel is going to try to help you on its own. But right here, remember, the text is too large, so I want all of them at one time. This is the master button up here in the top left-hand corner. I click on that. It highlights everything. I can go in between any letter. It doesn't even matter, just as long as it's something that's highlighted. I double click, and bam, it opens it up just like that, okay? And then I'm going to show you another technique, too, with that as well. Okay, we got some people with a couple of questions. Freeze horizontally and vertically at the same time. I'll say, okay, I don't know if I got that in fast enough. Someone was asking me, can I repeat on how to freeze horizontally and vertically at the same time? I don't know if they caught it just a second when I just did it. But I'll do it again real quick, okay, because I'm going to unfreeze it from here. All right, so now I've adjusted my months. I've frozen the panes. See, I can go up, I can go up, I can go left and right. I can make the adjustment. The panes are frozen, right? Now, if I go back to that spot, I can go back to view, freeze pane, and it's going to say now unfreeze. If I unfreeze, everything moves, as you see on the screen. Everything moves. But if I want to somehow come down here, wherever I move that to, freeze left of it and above it. So I'm going to go view, freeze pane. And now you see how some of the text and information is still in the same spot, but I don't usually use that. I go into my deepest corner. That's freeze here, unfreeze, and then refreeze. And bam, it's frozen it again back into the same thing. So that's again, Microsoft products are driven by these tabs at the top, and people get so intimidated by all of this. 90% of this stuff, to be honest with you, I probably have only used once, and a lot of it I have only used at all. And so, because you only use it according to what you think that you particularly need. All right, now let me show you another technique. Okay, and of how to start making some adjustments inside of Excel. So if you want a monthly view of your expenses, this is a way to do it, right? Show you how I can do a weekly view of my expenses. Okay, so I'm going to delete all these other ones out. Okay, and someone's got a question, so let me see. All right, okay, on a Mac, unable to find the freeze and the view is not visible. Like okay. I have someone saying that on the Mac is different, and I know these tools. Excel is just a spreadsheet, so I know in Mac you may have a different version of the spreadsheet, but if it's Microsoft Office, is that I remember it should be similar in the options. But again, I'm not a typical Mac user, so I don't know for sure. So I'll just have to, when I get a chance, research it. Okay, so now I'm going to show you, that was the month view I just showed you, right? As a matter of fact, I'll tell you what I'll do so that I can keep those. Let's say that's a month view. Down here where it says sheet, if you double click on the text that says sheet, it lets you change that title down there. So I'm going to say this was month view. I'm down at the bottom of the screen. So I just changed it, right? So now I've got a month view. Let's make a daily, a weekly view. Okay, so I clicked on the plus, it opened up another sheet for me, right? So I want this same area up here, so I'm going to copy that and I want to put that in. All right, let's see. I'm pasting it. Okay, so kept the same options. I want my expenses. I'm typing in expenses. Okay, and then next to it, I'm going to say week 1. Okay, and all right, same thing. All right, I just did it, and I want to bold them. And you have to watch your tabs sometimes up here because your tabs will sometimes depending on what you select. Tab. I want to go back to the home tab because I need access to my bold button, and so I'm going to bold. I'm going to bold that up, and I'm going to increase the fonts. Okay. So now I've got expenses, and we can remember if you can't see everything in Excel, you go in between the letters of the column. It goes from the big plus to the size plus with the arrows. Double click and it moves over. Same thing. Double click and it moves. All right. Now I'm gonna put my freeze pane in. View, freeze pane, freeze pane. So it's locked in, right? So I got my heading up here. I got my expenses. I got week 1. Remember I did before. You click on it. The big plus goes to the little plus, and then across, right? Okay, so I can go 12 weeks out, right? Okay, now, and of course, the text is too large. I click here, I double click, and now I've got my weeks, right? Okay, now here's the thing about this. I want to I just wanted to repeat that again, but I'm gonna show you something else. Okay, so if I wanted to see 2 weeks at a time, if I wanted to go from actually, I may have to put the date in. Let me try this first. Okay, 2 weeks. Does it work? Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, no, I'm gonna have to actually put the time in. Watch this. Okay, if I wanted to put a specific date in, if I wanted to put a specific date, I want to show you here. Let's say today is November 19th, 2015, 2015, right? Again, it's too large for the box, so I am going to adjust. All right, so November 19th, 2015. Let's say I want to look weekly and I'm putting in an actual date. And then I go out November 26th, 2015. I may have to do it a different way. Let me try it first this way. Okay. Let's see. Let me try this. Make sure to do it. No. Okay. Let me try something. Hold on. Just a second. It'll repeat. It's gotta see the official date. So let's see, 11, 11, hmm, sorry, 11/19, 2015. Okay, good. All right, then the next one I put in 11, 26, 2015. Okay. Now, if where before I just had week one, week two generically, right? If I want to put in something specific and I want to see every 2 weeks what's going on, or let's see, it's going to do weekly. Excuse me. And let me try it here. Hold just a second. I think it's going to build out weekly. December the 10th. Okay, it's going to build out weekly. Okay, let me show you here. I apologize, throat a little dry. Um, but yeah, if I want to see things weekly, you put in the first two examples of what it is that you want to show. And so if you go 11/19, 11/26, you highlight both of those. You highlight both of those because here, and I just go 11/26, and I just start going across. It's gonna give that it's gonna give this to me daily. It's gonna go 11/26, 11/27. It's going to 11/28, and so on, right? But if I want to show weekly, what you do is you put 2 weeks next to each other. You highlight both weeks, and then what you do is you drag across simultaneously. And what it's going to do is going to give me excuse me, just a second. Okay, so here it's going to let me highlight all of it because you can't see it right now. Okay, but you see, I started off by highlighting just 2 weeks. And then once you highlight two, Excel naturally knows to repeat the pattern. So it goes, hey, you want to see it weekly. You don't want to see it daily. So as I scroll across, I can now schedule out weekly for this entire time. I actually do this to create a weekly time management sheet. So I have a month view, a weekly view, and then I even have a daily view. So this is my weekly view. Okay. So I can look at my expenses every week. I can look at my expenses every month. And then there's ways to cross reference the information back and forward from one to the other. And but for the sake of today, I'm just trying to get people comfortable with the idea that these tools are out there, because obviously we could spend hours just trying to show you each one of these overall applications, and then I'm going to show you how you can take something from Excel and put it into Word and put it into PowerPoint here in just a few minutes. Okay, so now that's down and do the same thing, of course, daily, which is what I was just showing. And the other option too, and I'll show you here in a second, just something. I'm copying my merge cells together, going across. Okay, so you got GPI sample savvy. Okay, and then I got my expenses. Okay, whoop. Okay, and then above there, I can say day one, right? Okay, and again, I just got it generally typed in. I don't have anything saved, so that's why it's scrolling out of the way. I want to freeze my pane. I got my information in. I go to freeze pane, freeze pane. It freezes it wherever you put that mouse. Now, if you put it over here, it's only going to freeze this row. But if wherever you put that mouse to the left of it and to the top of it, it's going to freeze it, right? So I got my day one. I want to make this bold. So I go back to my tab up here where it says home, say bold. I want to change size. I can make it a little bit larger. Okay, my typing is too big. So I want to click on the all button. Then I want to make sure that I go across here. Now I've got my sizes. So day one, same thing, big plus, little plus. And I'm not even clicking on anything. It instantly changes on its. And so I click here and I just drag across. And you'll see it. And literally, you see where it says on the screen, day 17, day 18, day 19. So now if I wanted to, I can look at my expenses every day. And now in business, that becomes vital because you want a daily perspective, you want a weekly perspective, you want a monthly perspective on current expenses, future expenses. You want to get in the habit of making projections, and there's nothing better for making a list than Excel. So I've got day one, day two, day so, and so on, right? Okay, same thing that I was trying to show you earlier, but you have to put, and it won't work with the just the days by itself. So if I put in today's date, real simple, I'll get across 11/19/2015. here as long as I want to drag it out. Okay, and then of course um, pound signs, they represent that the number is too big for the cell. That's what that represents, by the way. I forgot to say that earlier. That represents that it's too big for the cell. So you click on the all button, increase the size all at one time. I've got 11, 19, 11, 20, and so on. Here's another trick too. All right, so now when you're in the day view, you can simply go insert. I inserted another column above it, and if I wanted to show here, I can say this today is Thursday. Okay, I'm gonna change the size. That's big. Okay, let's change the size of that. Go down to 12 and make it fit in. Okay, if I put Thursday here again, big plus, little plus, drag it across, it is automatically going to change the days. At least it's two. Let's make sure it does. Okay, and see, it automatically changes the days to match. So I now got Thursday the 19th, Friday the 20th, Saturday the 21st, Sunday the 22nd, and so on, right? So now it's the beginning of my column. So I can actually say tomorrow, whatever my list of things, lunch, meetings, whatever it is that we have inside of each thing, right? So it's just that easy. Okay, now some additional components too. And again, this gets back to getting comfortable with hitting the right side of the mouse. Any I have up here, I can go in, just I clicked on this cell right here that's at B3. That's another thing too. Everything in Excel corresponds to a row and a column, right? Or a column and a row. B3. If I go and I right click on something in Excel, remember when I was showing you the PowerPoint, this pretty much is the same list of things that were being offered in PowerPoint. And so, but this list right here is also somewhere up here. You have it at the top, but Microsoft tries to make it real easy to find it through your mouse. So I right click on the information. I can go down here to where it says Format Cells. When I'm in the Format Cell, I now have the option of wrapping the text. In other words, what that does is that if it's too big, it wraps it around. I can come in where it says number. I can change what's supposed to be a date into text. I can say, okay, I want it in text, but for some reason, Microsoft converts it to a number, an equivalent number. But or I can make it general. I can change the decimal places behind numbers. I can do the alignment. I can add fonts. I can add borders. I mean, again, I guess if there's anything that I'm trying to get across tonight, is that there are so many other options behind what you probably typically do on a particular file that is like just take the time to kind of right click on some things or click on some things and find out what the options are. So again, you right click, you can go down to Format Cells. That's the primary one I use. And then more often than not, I just use these two tabs, number or alignment. I make some kind of between those two for the most part to be done. All right, so now the next requires for me to kind of make a list. So let me see if I got a list already. Let's see, outcomes, day-to-day training, passes. So yeah, okay. I've got a list of just different that we even were working on today. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna take this list. I'm gonna put this list in my other. And if you can see, this is actually a real file that we were working on today. GPI revenue. We're looking at classes, services, online direct service. I mean, there's a lot of things that we're out through. And in this, I can come back in here and I can say, okay, tomorrow's list of things I need to do. I'm gonna click on here and paste. I'm gonna paste it in. Here's my list of things that I want to be able to do. And so now, once I have this list, then it gets to the same thing. I can on it. I get to my Format Cells, and I can go align. And you see excuse me, wrap text is already selected, and I'm gonna show you what difference that makes. As a matter of fact, let me uncheck it. If I uncheck that, you see how all my text spread out. And at that point it says, hey, you just want it in one long row. And instead, I want to wrap that text within that column. So I come here and I go right click. I go to Format Cells. Excuse me. And I go to Format Cells. I go to Wrap Text, and then now it says, hey, you want that text within that column, and it adjust it back just in that alone. Okay. So now this is why I was talking about one of the reasons. What I'm getting ready to show you now is one of the reasons that I like Excel so much. It's because once it's in here, if I right click on the information that I like, actually, if I right click on the information that I like, I right click and I copy. Once I copy here, I can go to Word and Power, everything else. And it's gonna, as long as I treat this information like text and not like numbers, anything out of Excel easily transfers into the other programs. And it's moving a little slow, but it's coming. All right. Okay. I always try to start with a blank document, like I was telling you before. And if it's in Word, it doesn't have any pre-formatted. Well, sometimes it does, but it doesn't have a pre-formatted format that I've got to remove. Once I open my Word up, and that's all I did, I opened up Word document. I didn't do anything particular. I come in here and I right click. When you right click, and this is the thing that I'm always amazed about, because people will do just a typical paste. They'll click. Matter of fact, that's what happened. Most people will click up here and just hit paste, right? If I hit paste, it's going to try to keep it as an Excel file, but it's going to try to put it inside a Word. Well, you can't see it, but there are columns. You see that? Matter of fact, now that I highlight it, you can see it. It actually made this into a column. That makes it extremely hard in Word to change anything, because technically it is an Excel file running inside of Word. So it's hard to adjust. So I rarely ever use this paste button up here. I pretty much don't ever use it, actually. And so I come in here, and this is what the Word file when I first came into it. I right click, and inside of here, these are my paste options. And you see in some of them, they're showing me what they look like. Depending on what it is that I would click on, it's showing me an example. So the one that I want is this one. I only want the text. So I go in and keep the text. Now this is free text, as if I wrote it into a Word document. So I now can I can go in and highlight, and I can say Friday, and then I can bold it. I can say today's date. I can bold it. I can change the size. And then let's say below this, I can take all that information I just had in Excel, highlight all of that, and I can go in here and I can put it in bullet points. Now all of a sudden, the same thing that I was working on in Excel looks like an outline inside of Word. And so that's a lot of times, because I have to make a lot of lists. That's why a lot of times I use Excel to start just about everything I'm doing, and then I convert it over into Word. And then the same thing. Now when I come into PowerPoint, the same thing in PowerPoint. I'm going to have to get a new one. Okay, and I'm going to show, since I'm back in PowerPoint. When I'm in PowerPoint, remember, I'm going to open up a new box. Again, it tries to help me. I cannot stand these pre-template things, because if you do something inside of them, you're going to be stuck with whatever setup that Microsoft already has. I instantly remove these. I want an open sheet of paper. So now I remove that. I still have the original information from Excel in here. So if I go back to Excel, remember, this is still the area that's highlighted. Now, this is one of the, now if there's ever anything irritating with Excel, is this. It's as long as these little boxes are around that you're copying, that information is being copied. Reason, Excel will only let you copy in a certain way, and if you mess it up, you have to go back in and highlight the information and recopy it again. So, but right now it's still in copy mode. Right click, copy, and now I'm going to PowerPoint, and in PowerPoint, and I'm right clicking again on the open page, and here's those options again. Now here it is. I'm in Excel. I'm no longer in Microsoft. I'm in Word, right? Longer in Excel. And this is what I was talking about, that Microsoft does a great job of trying to keep the options uniform. So that's what it looks like if I use the destination style. That's what it looks like if I keep the source formatting. And in essence, it's going to try to run an Excel file inside of PowerPoint. I do not like that. That's not what I'm trying. I want just the text. So I select again, just text. Now it gives me my own text box. I now have this information in a PowerPoint. I have this information in a PowerPoint, and I now have more flexibility to adjust that information and to adjust in here. And while I'm in here, because I know there's some people signed on but late, I'm going to show it again too, what I was doing in here in PowerPoint. In PowerPoint, I showed earlier how you remove the background. That is not the original picture, but you actually can get a picture that you on your computer, or a picture that you got from online, and you actually can remove the background out of that picture by using the format option up here at the top. That sets up there's an area behind usually behind a picture or out of a picture that you can remove, and that's what this option gives you. It gives you the option to remove. So, but hopefully this recording is going well, so I'll have it on the recorder. All right. So now, but again, from Excel to copying to PowerPoint to copying to Word, components are built in. Okay. Now, real quick, going back to Excel because at some point we all gonna need Excel a lot because we've got to be able to put our numbers in and everything, right? So okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna show just a couple of examples of the formulas, and we'll probably end out on that. The time was from 7 o'clock to 8:30. Okay, so let's say GPI sample becoming tech savvy. We're talking about our expenses. I'm gonna go ahead and build out some of this, and unless somebody's got some questions about anything else I've done, I'm probably gonna spend the rest of the time on just PowerPoint alone. Okay, so okay, expenses. Um, I'm gonna use an example. If we say office expenses, we're gonna go ahead and make it a little bit bigger. We're gonna make that 14. We're gonna bold it. And I'm gonna make all of these. Let me see. This I'm gonna underline it just for effect. These are my office expenses: copier, paper, coffee. Let's say tape. I'm looking around. Furniture, furniture, computer equipment, computer. Let's say phone. Say cables. Okay, I'm just gonna put a few in there and supplies. All right. So now, if I come in here and I say, okay, month one, here it cost me, you know, $350, and then I say the paper, for the month, for that entire month, the paper cost me $450, and coffee cost me another $75, and tape, we use a lot of tape around here, and that cost me another $40 in tape. Furniture, we spend a lot of, let's say we spend a lot of money on furniture this month, so we paid 50 furniture. We bought 5 computers, so we're paying $7,500 for computers. Let's say we have our phone system set up every month, and we got an expense with that. That's $450, and then we've got cables that we haven't always done with. That's another $250, and then supplies. We've got another $400 in supplies. Okay. All right. So now, in working in numbers, month one, right? And of course, I can change that out. Hold on, just so someone's got a question. Uh, okay. All right. So now, okay, in here, I want to be able to show you what happens here, right? So these numbers, and Excel loves numbers. That's what Excel is for, right? But I just showed you Excel can be used for lists. You can copy and paste stuff, and copy and paste out of Excel. There's just really no limit to it. One of the easiest thing, and I actually, and I don't know if I had ever told Paula this too. I never used to use the auto sum button, and I watched her start doing it, and I was like, you know what, that makes sense. So literally, if I want to find the total of all these things, I actually know the long cut, I guess. But there's a simple button for this. To do it, totals, you click below the totals. Excuse me. Excuse me. You click below the totals and you hit auto sum. In the process of doing that, you simply and I'm gonna have to do it. I did that quick again. Let me get rid of that again. Okay. So here, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna put totals below. These are my totals. I want to look at my totals for office equipment. So I simply put my mouse somewhere near those numbers and I select auto sum. Auto sum automatically will say equal sum parentheses B4. This is B4 and then colon through B13. Is saying everything in here we're going to add together, and then you just simply hit enter. And now it's showing it to me as straight numbers, but I want to see that with a dollar sign. So I put in here. I go and I click on the number. I right click. I go to format cell. Remember that's why I was telling you before. Is a lot of the options are either up here or a lot of times you just need to right click. And then so in the process of right clicking, you see in your options. Remember I told you the two main things I use. I rarely ever use font, border, field, and protection. I use number and alignment. I click on number. I want to see a number, or better yet, I want accounting. I want to see dollar signs. So I hit accounting. It shows you what the accounting option looks like. I can have it down to two decimal places or none at all in the symbol, right? I hit OK. It now says that all my expenses for this month were $11,000, right? Okay, so if I say, let's say these are hard costs. These are hard costs. In other words, these are the same costs every month. Just like I showed you earlier where you can change the text and keep it the same, I can do the same thing on here with numbers. I go from my big plus to my little plus, and I move. All right, so now all that stays the same. It's like, hey, that's the same information you want all the way across, so it keeps it all the way across to 350. All right, then I do the same thing for my second one, 450. I can do the same thing all the way across, right? But if I want to do all of them at one time, I highlight all of them, and my big plus goes to my little plus, and then I drag it across. Now look at how fast I populated my monthly expenses. Now, my total, remember, was a formula. Here it is. Remember, I did the auto sum. But when you click on a cell that has a formula, up here, that little FX, and I'll show you, okay, there's a formula that's going to click in. There's the equal sum B4 through B13. Okay, so now, right here, I take here my big plus, my little plus, and get across. Now, I think my formula should hold. Let me make sure. And it does. All right. So now what it did was instead of saying B4, B13, it now says C4, C13 all the way across. So now I can see my each month. Now I've now made a formula spreadsheet. If I change any totals in here, that total down here should change as well. Now the other side of it is too, if I want to come here and I want to see totals by each individual expense. If I come here, I'm typing in the word total here, and because I had already told this to make a bold up here, I click on my totals here. I click sum, auto sum. Watch what happens. I click auto sum. Whoop. Oh, well, it should have went across. I don't know why I didn't. If I click my auto sum, okay, it's not going. I don't know why not. Why not? Okay, hold on, hold on. I don't know why I didn't take that one, but is you can't see it, but it's there. And I'm gonna drag it across. It'll work. Let me see. I didn't see it. Okay, no. I don't know why it's not showing it. Oh no, what just happened? Oh, no, no, no. Okay, no. Let me go back. What in the world? All right. So actually, I don't know why. Normally, the auto sum will drag across. I don't know what the gap is at this. But instead, I'm going to actually put the formula in. If I see equal sum, I'm typing it in actually right now. So I typed in the equal sign. The moment you type an equal sign into an Excel cell, it tells Excel that you're about to put some type of formula together or some type of together. That's one of the features. It can actually do a lot. So then you put in, if you say equal sum, I'm putting in parentheses, and then now if I select every these things added together, right? And you see here it said B4. So from B4 to M4, right? And then I got to close it out in parentheses too. So right here, I've got equal sum B4 M4, and I just simply hit enter. And it's telling me this is the total amount of expenses that I copier in 1 year right there. So the same thing. Now, once I have that, I now can drag this total down. I can drag this total down. All right. And so that tells me my total per column. So now, remember I was saying earlier, I've got my free in here. Okay, somebody's got a question. She said I had to drag the auto sum across. Yeah. And Paulo was actually telling me I needed to drag the auto sum, but it didn't give me the reference bar, so I didn't want to hold y'all up trying to do it. But she's right. Okay, so now down here, I want to see what my totals are across for the year. Okay, see, remember now the total is too large for that column. And so with that total being too large for that column, and that's what the pound sign means, I can go up here, I put my little sign in between there, I double click, and so all okay, no, it actually added the total all the way across. I didn't want that. So let's see. We're gonna do auto sum here. Oh, I want my auto sum to go up, not across. See, that time it went across. Let's see. Auto sum. No, yeah. Let's see. 90,000. Oh no, no. Okay, that's right. If I'd have kept the totals the same, the reason why is based on this is saying that I spent $90,000 on computers. So at first I thought that total was off, but actually it's because I didn't make a lot of changes. But I'm gonna show you here. So now I've created a self. In other words, all my numbers are not static numbers, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. I actually can change out this information from one piece to the next. Okay, so now this is how it works. I now remember I started off. I did my basic setup. I put in what the line expenses. I put in the monthly cost. I dragged it across. I put my totals here. I use the auto sum. Now watch what happens. If I come in here and I say, well, you know what? In the second month, we didn't spend any money on computers. I'm gonna say zero. Now watch, my total here and my total here are going to change, okay? So I'm gonna hit enter, and bam, my totals change. Nope, we only had $3,000 expenses, right? And then I say, okay, the third month, computer expenses again. I put in 0. Oh, what's going on? Something's frozen. Hold on just a second. My screen is frozen. Okay. I put in 0. Just a second. Come back up. I'm gonna do a quick review and then we're gonna finish here in a second. Let me try to figure out what's happening. Why is it frozen? Just a second. File, save as. Just a second, I'm gonna save the file. There's no way around it. I mean, there are definitely glitches to how Windows puts some information together. And it may be too because I'm using extra resources online. It will not actually let me save the file. Okay, but what should have happened in there? Let me see if I can go back and replace it. For some reason, it's making a connection to another file. Let me see if I can close that one out. Okay, let's see. Let me see if I can do it now. Okay, there you go. For some reason, another file was requesting. Okay, so again, let me go back. If I put 0 here, if I put a 0 here, it's going to change here and it's going to change here. All right, so here we go. Real quick, one more time, because we've created a formula cell. So it changes here, it changes here, it changes here. There's a total. So now that's pretty much how your accountant and everybody else pretty much does everything. And that's just the beginning. This was a general overview of becoming tech savvy. The stuff that I tried to cover with you today, because we're going to go ahead and wrap up, is in the very beginning that you go to your start menu, you right click, you go to run, you do your MS config, you see what's in your startup and what's running behind. We went to your browser and I showed you in the browser that, your extensions where it says more, that's most likely you think you have a virus. If some extension is running, you get rid of the extensions. And then the next thing was I showed you a little bit about PowerPoint and where PowerPoint, you can make some edits to pictures and changes. And then from there, I went to Excel. I was trying to show you how Excel is such a useful tool because once you know what to do with it, you can copy and paste from there to Word. Word, I don't really do a lot of stuff where I do a lot of editing in Word. I pretty much do all my changes in PowerPoint and in Microsoft. I mean, in PowerPoint and Excel. Go to Word to kind of just keep it, in some kind of narrative where getting it prepared for a person to be able to print it or read it. And there's a lot of other tricks. I'm going to try to slowly keep putting together a catalog of this. I hope all of this was helpful. I hope all of y'all have a good night. And if I don't talk to you, have a good weekend as well. It's a pleasure. Have a good night. Thank y'all. Take care.